Hello students, let's recall what we have learned in our earlier videos. We learned that what is a binary operation, we learned what is a group and how binary operation plays a role in defining a group. Then we learned what are abelian groups and what is a non-abelian group. Then we learned some examples of groups and some examples which are not groups. Okay, so today we will learn some important properties of groups, which groups satisfy. There is nothing new that I am going to discuss. These properties have been derived from the axioms of the group. We have already learned that there are three axioms which the groups satisfy, and from those three axioms we will derive these properties. Okay, and so this will make bring out more limelight to what we have learned. And so let's talk about the very first property, property P1, uniqueness of identity. Okay, uniqueness of identity. Let's write down again so that we remember these axioms and we do not need to mug up these things again and again. Let's write down associativity. Second is identity. Third is inverse. Okay, so uniqueness of identity. This is property number one that the group satisfies. Okay, so this says that in a group G, groups are generally denoted by G only. In group G, there exists a unique element E such that AE is equals to EA is equals to A for every A that belongs to G. This is the property. We know that this is the definition of an identity element. AE is equals to EA for every A belonging to G. Now we say that this identity has to be unique. Now we come to the proof. Let if possible there are two elements. Okay, E and E dash. If at all there are two elements, two identity elements, we will prove that these two identity elements are equal and our job is done. Okay, so let if possible these are two identity elements in G. Okay, and now to prove is E is equals to E dash. This is to be proved, TP. I am writing this TP to prove. Okay, now since E and E dash are identity elements, so AE, since G, first of all, G is a group and hence non-empty. Since this is non-empty, therefore there exists some element, at least there will be one element because every group is a non-empty group. Okay, such that AE is equals to EA is equals to E and E dash A is equals to AE dash is equals to E dash. Okay, so to prove that in a group G there is only one identity element, let us suppose that there are two identity elements and we will prove that both are equal. So G is a group and hence it is non-empty. Since this is non-empty, we have at least one element in the group. So take that element, and since both are identities, just write down the definition of an identity element, how it commutes with the elements of the group. AE is equals to EA is equals to E. E dash A is equals to AE dash is equals to E dash. Okay. Now put A is equals to E dash in one and A is equals to E in 2. Obviously a group contains an identity element. It cannot be without an identity element, okay? So this is 1, this is 2. I said A is equals to E dash in 1. This means that E dash E is equals to E. This we get. Just remove this. We need only this part and this part. We do not need this part. A dash A. Put A is equals to E in this. E dash E is equals to E dash. From these substitutions in the above two equations, we get E dash E is equals to E. E dash E is equals to E dash. This implies, since these are two equal, E dash E, E dash E, this implies E is equals to E dash. Therefore, we say that every group has a unique identity. Therefore, identity element is unique in a group. Okay. So let's move on to the next property. Let us move on to the next property, which is P2. In a group, left and right cancellation laws hold. Okay. So this means that, remember that a group is non-empty, it satisfies associativity, it has an identity, it has inverse for every element. Okay. So now we are saying, after proving that any group has a unique identity element, now we will prove that left and right cancellation laws hold. Okay. Now when I write, you remember these things from high school, that for real numbers and for integers these hold. Okay. So AB is equals to AC implies B is equals to C, or BA is equals to CA implies B is equals to C. Now from our high school, what we used to do, if A was not equal to 0, we are minded, if A is not equal to 0, only then we are able to cancel A. Otherwise we cannot cancel A. Okay. So AB is equals to AC implies that B is equals to C, or BA is equals to CA implies B is equals to C. Let's prove both of them for a group. Okay. So AB is equals to AC. This is the proof. Since A belongs to a group, okay, so it has its inverse in G. There exists A inverse that belongs to G, such that A inverse is equals to A inverse A is equals to identity element. Okay. So AB is equals to C, AC. Left multiply by A inverse. A inverse into AB. We are left multiplying the equation by A inverse. Now use associativity. Since the operation is associative, A inverse A, we remember A into BC is AB into C. Okay. A inverse A is into B is equals to A inverse A into C. So this is E into B is equals to E into C. This implies B is equals to C. Now let us prove it for the other side. BA is equals to CA. Here right multiply by A inverse. Okay, so associativity holds, and hence we are able to write it like this. Note, for some of the operations associativity does not hold, but then it's not a group also. B into E is equals to C into E. This implies B is equals to C. So we have proved that in a group, left and right cancellation laws hold. Cancellation means AB is equals to AC. You should be able to cancel A, and hence B is equals to C. B is equals to C implies B is equals to C. Cancel A and you get B is equals to C. So this is how we prove the second property of groups. And let's prove the last property of groups, which is that the existence of inverse is unique. That every element, we know that in a group, every element has an. So we were writing down in a group G, for every element A belonging to G, there exists a unique element B belonging to G such that AB is equals to BA is equals to E. Okay, so let's prove it. And for example, since this is a group, we know that at least one inverse exists. We will show that there is exactly one inverse. So let B and C be inverses of A in G. This implies AB is equals to BA is equals to E, and AC is equals to CA is equals to E. This is 1, this is 2. Now from 1 and 2 deduce that AB is equals to AC, and in the very last property that we discussed, that in a group left and right cancellation laws hold. So we are able to cancel A, and hence we get B is equals to C. So far we have seen three properties. First property was uniqueness of identity. In a group, we know that identity exists. That is one of the axioms of the group, but that identity is unique. That was property 1. Property 2 was left and right cancellation laws hold in a group. We know that these hold in real numbers and set of integers, but in any group, we have proved that AB is equals to AC implies B is equals to C. Okay, and third property was, we know that inverse of an element exists in any group, and we have proved that there is exactly one inverse. There cannot be more than one inverse. So these are some of the properties of groups. Now after that, almost we have discussed everything, but there are few more points that need to be taken up and which are very important for understanding. We are usually confused between the notations that we are using. Okay, so do not confuse with the operation when we are talking of groups. When I talk of a group Z plus 2 power 4, what is the value? We might say that this is 16. No, this is not 16, this is 8. Because just see that what is 2 for a group. Just see that what is the operation we are applying. 2 power 4 will be 2 star 2 star 2 star 2. Okay. Now this star is plus. If we talk about plus, then it has to be 8. If it was multiplication, although it's not group under multiplication, so we'll not talk about that. And 2 power 4 is 8, not 16. So be careful when you are using the additive notation. Okay. So 2 power 4, say instead of writing g power n, write it as n into g, where n need not be an element of a group itself. It's just a natural number. Be an element of a group. So next we talk about inverse. Again, there might be a confusion. 2 inverse is not 1 by 2. Corresponding to this operation, it's minus 2. Inverse of 2 is not equal to 1 by 2. It's 2 inverses minus 2. So instead of writing, for when we are representing the operation in additive notation, write it as minus g inverse instead of writing that. Okay, if you are writing A inverse power n, it will be minus g plus minus g, sorry, g inverse power n minus g plus minus g plus minus g, and so on n times. Okay. Now let's talk about exponents. In a high school, we have learned that the laws of exponents hold for set of real numbers or integers, right? We have learned that laws of exponent holds for numbers. But here when we are talking of groups, that can be any set of matrices, set of rationals, set of irrationals, anything. You can define any set and an operation of that will make it a group. Laws of exponents. What are laws of exponents? G power n, m into g power n is g power m plus n, and this is first law, and g power m power n is g power mn. Okay, so this is the second law of exponents. Now for numbers, we know that these hold. Okay, we have 2 power 4 into 2 power 6 is 2 power 10, 2 power 2 power 3 is 2 power 6. So this is very common and we know that. But for groups, this holds for a single element. For single elements, these law of exponents also hold in groups. But for multiple elements, AB power n is not equal to A power n into B power n, which holds for real numbers. So this property holds for real numbers but not for all the groups. Take an example of matrix multiplication. The examples that we did for matrix multiplication having determinant 0. So that should not satisfy this property, and I leave up to you to find out that whether that group satisfies this property or not. But for sure, the laws of exponents do not hold. And again, I am repeating one thing: while using additive notation, do not confuse 2 power 4 with 16, or this is just one example, but just write it as n into g for any element and minus g as the inverse for additive notation. For multiplicative notation, we already have g power n and g inverse. This is very important point to remember. And in the next video, we'll just revise what all we have learned till now. And thank you for watching this video.